and Amy. So I thought one of Trump's best moments came early in the debate, and it was when he really pinned Hillary Clinton down on, being around in public office as a ruling class elite for 30 years. And how's that been going for us? This was in the context of jobs and the economy where the debate started.
We have to do a much better job at keeping our jobs. And we have to do a much better job at giving companies incentive to build new companies or to expand, because they're not doing it. And all you have to do is look at Michigan and look at Ohio and look at all of these places where so many of their jobs and their companies are just leaving. They're gone. And Hillary, I just ask you this. You've been doing this for 30 years. Why are you just thinking about these solutions right now? For 30 years you've been doing it, and now you're just starting to think of solutions.
Well, actually,
I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, actually.
Yeah, and then she said, go to my website, and then Trump should have said, well, I guess I'll debate your website in the second debate in St. Louis, since you don't want to answer questions. But it was instructive that he mentioned Michigan and Ohio specifically and glossed over, like, for example, Illinois, which is the worst example of what he's discussing. But for more on the debate, we're happy to be joined by a former Reagan aide, a former Jack Kemp aide, and a contributing editor at the American Spectator. He's our friend Jeffrey Lord. Jeffrey, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. How are we today?
Good.
Is anybody awake out there?
Yeah, we're awake. We got to pour over all of what transpired last night. And so what's your kind of drill down on Trump's performance and the impact of last night's debate?
Yeah, I thought he did very, very well. I mean, boy, particularly in that first half hour, he had her really pinned. But one of the things I want to caution here, and I mentioned this last night on CNN, when you go back and look at the media response to the Jimmy Carter-Ronald Reagan debate in 1980, which happened to be in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was reading the front page headlines from the Cleveland Plain Dealer the next day, and it basically said it was a draw, nothing, nobody really won. And about a week later, the polls came out and showed that the American people thought overwhelmingly that Ronald Reagan won the debate. My point is that we're going to talk about this, but so is everybody else in America here this morning. And about a week from now, or maybe a little less, we're going to start to see polls that reflect what happened in the debate.
You know what's
You've got to be very careful here drawing assumptions. I think Donald Trump won this. I thought he did extremely well.
You know, it's interesting, just as a quick aside, the Carter and Reagan in 80, Carter skipped two of the debates. He only agreed to one debate. Isn't that right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, it was just one debate. That's exactly right.
Huh.
And then the debate between Ronald Reagan and Walter Mondale, that was actually a little comical, wasn't it? Because Ronald Reagan showed that he had a humorous side to him as well.
Not going to hold your age against you. Your youthful, right. Your inexperience, yeah.
Reagan had not done well in that first debate with Mondale, and it was very interesting. They brought in Roger Ailes. I was in the Reagan campaign. They brought in Roger Ailes and said, "Mr. President, they've stuffed your head full of all kinds of facts and figures, and that's not your thing. Or all these details. Your thing is themes. Stick with your themes and bring every question around to your themes." Well, that's what he did in the second debate, and Reagan himself came up with a line about Mondale's youth and inexperience, and with that, the debates were done.
Well, so on that point with respect to Trump, and Trump's real strength is being directionally correct and sharpening the contrast between himself and his opponents in the primary and opponent in the general. And did you sense that there were some missed opportunities to sharpen those contrasts with respect to Hillary's trustworthiness when the discussion turned to her email server, and he kind of more or less let her get away with saying it was a mistake, and some other opportunities?
I wish there had been more of that. And candidly, the part where he pulled back there, she's trying to go after him on women. And, of course, as we all know,
the enabler. Yes.
He's saying he's anti-women, and you've got women like Juanita Broaddrick out there saying that Hillary Clinton bullied her to keep her silent about her her charge that Bill Clinton had raped her. I mean, and he just didn't want to go there with Chelsea Clinton sitting right there in the audience.
Yeah, but he praised himself for not bringing that up and bringing Bill Clinton's past up.
He what? I'm sorry?
I said he praised himself for, showing restraint and not bringing up, the indiscretions of Bill Clinton.
Yeah. I mean, I frankly wish, I guess, that he had. But there will be other opportunities. And to be perfectly candid, we all know what he's talking about here.
Well, then why do we need to relitigate that?
Because she raised the issue about the treatment of women. That's why.
Well,
and so if you raise the issue, you get
because it's not about Bill Clinton. It's about Hillary.
Right. If she raises the issue, you get to impeach the witness. I mean, that's the
but he could have pivoted that question and talk about what he has done to help women develop in the business world and how he has helped women. Instead, he got sucked into it. Don't you agree, Mr. Lord?
Yeah, I do think he probably could have done that one just a little bit better here. But what's going to happen here is both campaigns are going to be reviewing these tapes of last night and figuring out what to do. Now, the next debate with the presidential candidates is going to be in front of an audience, and my friend and colleague Anderson Cooper is going to be one of the moderators. And when you're in front of an audience, a physical audience that's participating in the event, I mean, in other words, it's a town hall style situation. You need to be careful here when you're attacking the other guy, because you got folks right in front of you who can jump into the process, and it makes it a little awkward here, as opposed to last night where it's just two of them with the moderator on stage, and the audience was supposed to be quiet; they weren't participating.
Well, so
it's going to be a different setting,
right? And so, coming out of last night's debate, and with the format change for the October 9th debate in St. Louis. If you're on the Trump campaign, what do you advise Donald Trump to do differently on October 9th? Where should he focus positive correction?
He touched on this last night, and I think it was a strong point for him, that she's been involved in all of these things for 30 years. And if we have all these problems, what has she been doing? I mean, let's remember, she was one of the most influential first ladies in the history of the country. Specifically charged with fixing health care, quote unquote, and she couldn't get it done during the Clinton administration. Then she comes back as Secretary of State, and you have Benghazi, and you have all of these different problems in the Obama administration. And she's the one who's out there saying there are all these problems that need to be fixed. Well, who's been in charge? I mean, I do think he should go after her on this. And the fact that she's just one more career politician. She is no more and no less than, say, Jeb Bush.
Well, yeah.
So I do think he should be going after that.
Yeah, revisiting the kind of ruling class argument, the outsider against that ruling class in D.C. I agree with that. All right, he is Jeffrey Lord. He's contributing editor at the American Spectator. The book, What America Needs, The Case for Trump. Jeffrey Lord, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.